Hello, and welcome to Math Xtra, the show that puts you on the right path in math. I'm Mrs. Leach, and if you're watching this show, it means you want to get better at math, and I'm here to help. So if you're ready, I'm ready to do the math on Math Xtra. All right, everybody, today we're going to talk about integers. Those are positive and negative numbers. And you probably have already been working with them, just using money when you go to the store or when you borrow money from somebody and pay them back, or if you are playing sports. Usually like in football, you want yardage gained, but sometimes you get yards that are lost. And even in temperature, like sometimes it's really hot outside, but then the temperature drops, and sometimes it drops below zero. So we're going to talk about that today, and I'm going to show you how to work with integers just using some models. I've got integer chips that are positive and negative, yellow and red chips that represent positive and negative numbers. And then I'm also going to show you on the number line how that works too, and we'll get the same answer each time. So here we go. So I want you to look at this spot right here, and the yellow chip is going to represent positive. Think of like happy sunshine and how positive that is. And then the red chip is the negative one. And you can think of like, when somebody gets angry, sometimes their face turns red. So that's how you can remember the two. So as you go to work on these, we're going to start with the two right here, two positive chips. And we're going to add one more positive chip to it. And I bet you already knew the answer to that. The two here and the one more here will give us 3. A total of 3. And so that's the way that you can use integer chips to show how to add positive integers. Now let me show you on the number line. So on the number line, we're going to always start at the first number, that 2 right there. So we're going to start here, and then we're going to just move it to the right one place, and we're going to land on 3. So that's exactly the very same number answer that we got when we used the integer chips. We added them both and they equal 3. Now here's where it gets interesting if we have the negative chips. So let me show you again what it looks like if you have adding 2 negative numbers. Now an example would be like in football, if you were playing and you lost 3 yards, and then you had the next play and you lost another yard. So now you're down, but how many are you down? So let's add them together and see. Okay, so this time we're going to use the red, and the red is 1, 2, 3 negative chips, and then we're going to add one more negative chip to it, and our total will be -4. So equals -4. Let me show you on the number line what that looks like. We're going to start with this -3, and then it says plus -1. So when I'm adding a -1, I'm going to go to the left. Now last time I went to the right, but let me show you what that means. There's a term that you have to remember. If you hear the word negative or if you hear the word minus, you turn. So you always go in the direction of the right, and then when you hear negative or minus, then you turn and go the opposite way. So let me show you again how I got that. So we start at -3 and we're going to the right. And then it says plus negative. Oh, that means turn. So we're going to turn around and then we go to the left. So that's why we get -4 for our answer. That's how we do it. Let me show you when you have a little bit of both. Like if you have a positive and a negative number. What in the world do we do now? That's a little backwards. Well, let me show you exactly what this means when you have 0 pairs. Now 0 pairs are when you have one of each. You have a positive and you have a negative. Now, this is exactly what it looks like when you are borrowing money from somebody. You borrow $1 and you pay them back. Or let's say that you climb up a ladder 1 foot and then you go back down to the floor, back to 0. So anytime you have what's called a 0 pair is when you have one positive and one negative and they're just canceling each other out. And it's what we do. So what we're going to do here is anytime you see that, we're going to circle them and make it a 0. That's how you can remember. So let me start over, and I'm going to show you how to answer this problem. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so positive 4, that means we are going to put 4, oops, excuse me. That means we are going to put 4 positives, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to put 5 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here is our setup. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at those 0 pairs and we're going to cancel them out, because remember, positive 1 and negative 1 equals 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to cancel those out. So here we go. I'm going to circle. There's 1 0 pair. There's another 0 pair. There's another 0 pair. And one more 0 pair. So that means all those right here have just become zeros. And then what I'm left with is this extra 1 right here. So that equals negative 1. There we go. All right, now on the number line, we're going to do the same thing, except for we're going to start at the first number, and then we are going to either go to the right or we're going to go to the left if we hear negative or if we hear minus. So I like this chant. I can say, I say negative, you say turn, negative, turn, negative, turn. I say minus, you say turn, minus, turn, minus, turn. So here we go. I'm going to show you on the number line how that works. So we're always going to start at that first number. That's our starting place. And we're going to start here at 4, and we're going to go to the right unless we hear minus or if we hear negative. So here we go. Plus negative, oh, I'm not going to go in the right direction, I'm going to go in the left direction. So I'm going to turn to the left direction, and I'm going to go 5 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And look where I land. I land at negative 1, just like I did when I used the integer chips. So that's another way that you can see how those cancel out. Pretty exciting stuff. Now, let me show you next. Here's another example. We've got negative 3 and positive 4. So let me show you what that would look like. There we go, negative 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to add positive 4. So here's our 4 positives, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to look now for 0 pairs. Now in 0 pairs, we're going to see which ones. We've got a red and a yellow, a positive 1 and a negative 1. We're going to cancel them out. So this is like if you borrowed $3 and then you go to pay your friend back $4. So let's see how many 0 pairs. We've got 1 0 pair, another 0 pair, another 0 pair, and we are left with this one right here by itself, which would be a positive 1. Now, what's also exciting is you don't always have to write positive 1. You can write just 1, either way. It represents positive 1, even if it's written without the positive sign. So on the number line, here we go. We're going to start at this first number here, negative 3. That's our starting point. And then we're going to move to the right 4 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we are right there, landing at positive 1, just like we did with the integer chips. So that's how you know that if you borrow $3 and then you pay them back $4, they actually have an extra $1 in their pocket. Not too bad. So now, here's one more thing I'm going to show you about these positive and negative numbers is if you have this minus sign in the middle. So this is a little confusing to some people, but I'm going to show you what that means. We've got a negative 2 minus negative 3. Now that looks like a lot of negative signs, but I'm going to break it down and make it easy for you because you can do it. All right? We're going to start with negative 2. So I'm going to put 2 negatives right here. And then I want to take away, because minus means take away. If I want to take away negative 3, I don't have negative 3 to take away, and I don't know what to do. But let me show you what to do because you already know about 0 pairs. So let's add in a 0 pair because I didn't change anything. Just going to put it in, and then we're going to be able to take it away. So watch how we do that. So I want to take away -3, but I don't have that. So I'm going to add in this 0 pair right here. I've got this 0 pair, I'm going to circle it for you. Right there, that's a 0 pair that doesn't change the problem at all. It just adds to it. So now I can actually take away -3. So watch how we take away -3. This is the exciting stuff. I've got 1, 2, 3 that I take away, and look what I'm left with. I'm left with a +1. So I can answer the question by making sure we write down equals +1. Now, sometimes you'll see when you say like minus a negative, you go, I need an example to show me what that talks about. It means that you're taking away something bad. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you're taking the trash out from your garage to the street, and I just say, hey, let me get that for you. I'll take it away from you. Well, wouldn't that make you smile? Wouldn't you say, oh, that's a great, yes. Well, that makes it a positive, makes it a real positive thing. So let me show you how you can rewrite this same problem using addition to make it easier. So here we go. We are going -2, and then we're going to add a +3. So I was taking away something bad and making it good. So if I were to use the integer chips, I would have 2 negatives, 1, 2, and then I would add 3 positives, 1, 2, 3, and look how I would make some 0 pairs. Here's a 0 pair, and here's a 0 pair, and then I'm just left with that single +1 equals a +1. So that's a great way to remember when you have a minus and another negative right next to each other, that actually taking away something bad, it makes it good. I do want to show you right here on the number line how to get the same answer. Here we go. So we always start with that first number, -2. Now, when you see negative, turn, minus, turn. So we're going to start at -2, here we go. And it says minus, so right now I'm going in the right direction, but I see the word minus, that means I want to go in the left direction. So I was here, and then I go back here, and it says, oh, negative. So then I turn one more time, and I go to the right 3 places. 1, 2, 3, and look where I end up, right there at +1. Same answer that I got with integer chips. Pretty good stuff right there. So now you know a little bit about integers. Remember, when you borrow money and pay it back, or in football, if you gain yardage and then lose yardage, or even with temperatures where you have something cold and then it gets warm, you might want to figure out how the temperature changes and how much it changes by. So that's my challenge question today. I'm going to show you that challenge question. Here it is. The temperature was 12 degrees and dropped overnight to -2 degrees. What was the change in temperature? See if you can do that.